Yes, this is John G. Sutton, and welcome to Tales from the Jails. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my experience of working on Sea Wing at Wormwood Scrubs 1975, round about then, 75, 76, and my encounters with those members of the public who become prisoners known as paraffin lamps. Yes, folks, they have paraffin lamps in London. It's Cockney rhyming slang, Cockney rhyming slang for tramps, yeah? And what usually happened was the police would round up the tramps, rough sleepers, and stick them in the court straight into the scrubs. Because they come into the scrubs in a real state, They were really badly unwashed, disgraceful state. One guy came in, seriously, he obviously hadn't had a wash or anything for maybe years, who knows, but his hair was set. It was like a crash helmet, his hair. It was solid, and that had to come off because obviously it was infested with lice. So the hospital officer had to deal with these and shaved this guy's head, and it was all sores and little creatures crawling all over it. Had to wash all that off, and his feet he obviously had the same boots for many years because his big toenail had grown through the end of his boot, and round, and it was like a horn. Yeah, he had like hobnail boots with the horn, but the horn was his big toenail. That had to be sawn off. And at the scrubs, they stuck them in certain cells, designated cells, for what we termed the paraffin lamps, or they termed it, yeah. And they used to hose them down, so they'd get them out early, dead on 7 o'clock, sling them into the shower unit, had a shower unit on C1, herd them in there, because they didn't know where they were half the time, these people. They were human beings, of course, but they were in a dire, terrible state, doubly incontinent and covered in lice and infestations. So you didn't want to get too close, believe me, but you had to get them into the shower unit. And once they were in the shower unit, they didn't just turn on the showers, and go, yeah, have some soap and get a shower. Oh, no. Got the fire hose. I didn't do it, but the staff who've been doing this for years got the fire hose. I mean, it sounds amusing, but it's not really. These are people, and hose them down, full belt fire hose, like that, holding on to it for grim life, and there's a lot of power going through there, and hose these people down. And they did the same thing to the cells, sent people in, cleaners into the cells, and you had to virtually do that almost on a daily basis because these people just destroyed the cells, urinating and defecating all over the place. It was a terribly sad state of affairs. Paraffin lamps. I told you the story previously about the racing driver, how he managed to get himself locked up with the paraffin lamps, and that took about an hour and a half to drive him completely round the bend. I'm not sure that was a kind thing to do, but of course, there you go. These things happen in prison. And I'll tell you another story about Sea Wing. I was patrolling Sea Wing one lunchtime. Everybody else all the staff had gone for dinner. One officer per landing, 4 landings. Senior officer in the room, the office down below. 4 officers up the landing. Bang, bang, bang on the door. I went to the door. This inmate screaming, "Help! Help! Help! Help!" So what the hell's the matter? I can't do it. And there was furniture everywhere. The beds were upside down. The bedside, the lockers, everything pots, pan, everything all over the place. So I got the other officer off I think it was the threes. I was on the twos. Yeah, got him, said, just watch this. I'm just going to open this cell here. I opened the cell and this little black guy threw himself on the floor and started screaming and ranting and shouting, I'm gonna get it, I can't stand it, you know. I said, what the hell's going on? And the other two guys in the cell said, we've been messing with a Ouija board, you know, a homemade Ouija board. They said, and when we did it, suddenly the room went freezing cold and all the furniture started moving round. The bed started lifting up, and he said, and this guy, he felt there was somebody grabbing him, and he went into a panic, and he just, obviously, they'd unleashed some kind of demonic force through messing with the Ouija board. I seriously recommend that nobody messes with the Ouija board in prison. Certainly not somewhere like Wormwood Scrubs. So I had to get the hospital staff to deal with him, and they took him away. And then I had to relocate the two men in the cell because the cell was smashed to bits, and they hadn't done it. You know, they said that it had been done. So I put a report in, went in to see the principal officer. You know, said this is what happened. You know, gave him my report. He read it, he ripped it up, and said, "Utter bollocks! Get out!" Threw it away. But I'd done my duty. You know. Anyway, if you get in the scrubs, avoid the paraffin lamps. And I tell you what, the smell was terrible, and the state of these poor buggers' bodies, you know, they're all flea bites and abscesses and all sorts of stuff. Happy days, eh? Tales from the jails. Hope you're enjoying these.